Hello ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw, but especially we're going to talk about the fact that the Bloodline, The Rock and Roman Reigns just spoiled Wrestlemania. And both the opening segment and the ending was extremely amazing. Everything that The Rock has been doing, it's been worth talking about. And for the past few weeks, not only has it been worth talking about, it's been the best we've seen in professional wrestling, perhaps ever. As a matter of fact, I think this is the first time I heard it. Either Kenny said it, Kenny Bomb, Mr. Kenny Bomb, or just Brian. The Rock might be number one right now, surpassing Hulk Hogan, surpassing Stone Cold. Right now with this run, with this current run, even though it's not over yet, even right now, The Rock might be number one in the entirety of wrestling. It's insane. But like I said, he spoiled it, man. He spoiled it. The Rock and Roman just whipped the hell out of Seth, whipped the hell out of Cody, and they closed off the go-home show of Raw on the very top, very, very top. As high of a momentum they could have gotten, they've gotten it in this segment. And I don't think we're going to see any of them at SmackDown. Maybe Jimmy Uso when we're talking about the Bloodline. Maybe even Solo Sikoa. But I don't, maybe like, again, you might see Roman just say a couple of words. But this is it, man. I feel like this is all we're going to see from Cody and Roman and Rock until, of course, WrestleMania rolls around. Which it is like, what, 4 days, 5 days? It's really, really soon. But, what I'm about to say is not mind-blowing. The fact is, this is, if you've been watching WWE for a while, I've been watching it for so many years now. If someone, right before the pay-per-view, ends the last segment at the top with the highest momentum, with his feet on the ground, with his opponent's back on the ground, that person, 99% of the time, ends up losing at the pay-per-view. And the more I look at what Roman Reigns is doing, the more I look at what The Rock is doing, oh man, it just doesn't seem like, to me, even though I want Roman Reigns to win, I seriously, go back and watch my older videos just a week ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe, 3 weeks ago, like I was saying, let Roman Reigns win, I want him to win. Now, not only do I think he's not gonna win, it's looking less and less likely, I'm not saying it's impossible, but with his performance, I kind of don't want him to win. Anyways, let's go ahead and start our Raw review right here with this picture. Roman Reigns came out. Before him, The Rock came out. Obviously, we have 72 pictures here. Not every single picture from Raw, but hey, we're just gonna make do with what we have. 72 is plenty enough. The Rock's entrance, quick side note, absolutely the greatest entrance, perhaps of all time. It'll be up there. Everything is right about it. The lighting, the smoke, the final boss, graphic incoming, his new nameplate with the electrifying The Rock, his new look with the amazing vest, and some of them are throwback, especially this week with the cow. Wonder if we can see it. Let me see. No, they put no pictures of The Rock here for some bloody reason. But all that to say, The Rock's, Hollywood theme that he started using in 2003, that was my favorite Rock era of all time. Like, forget about the Attitude Era Rock. I love the 2003 Hollywood heel Rock right before he pretty much left wrestling. Let's be honest. I think he returned to wrestling just this year with the Cody Rhodes segment, because even John Cena, when we talk about their feud, like, he just did 3 segments in 2 years, right? I didn't like that. This actually feels like The Rock is finally back in wrestling for real. For whatever reason, people talk about him not being too good at Hollywood right now, in hot water and other places. That's why he's using wrestling as a crutch. Doesn't matter, man. He's actually back, and I love every single second of it. Like, The Rock is booking himself perfectly. The first time he came in with Rocky Maivia, people hated him. He turned heel. Look at him, what happened afterwards. Second time, let's say this is the second time he really came back to wrestling, as I said, and people didn't like him, so he turned heel, and look what happened. All I'm gonna say to this is that he can't keep getting away with this, man, but he somehow does it. Pretty entertaining promo here from The Rock, and then he let Roman Reigns speak, and he didn't crap the bed this time. He was way better, here than he was when he went up against Cody Rhodes one-on-one. Like, that promo was horrible. That's a promo that should make you lose your championship, because we're not even talking like a decent promo. That was bad. That was, low Carter, no Carter level promo. It was horrible. Like, it was the most generic stuff you could have ever come up with. Zero effort from Roman Reigns' part. And here, it wasn't as bad as that, but come on, man. Like, he didn't say too many, memorable things. And here's the thing. You don't have to say the greatest lines of all time. It's all about how you make people feel. That's how you can get a connection, right? In real life as well, right? Like, usually you're not going to remember 90% of the time when you're hanging out with your friend, like, what words did he say? But no, you're going to remember, that time it sucked. It was so boring. It was fun. We laughed a lot. Roman Reigns is just doing generic stuff. Like, he could be saying the most generic stuff, but making us get scared, making us laugh, making us feel something. He just couldn't do it. And just when I was saying, this is a decent promo, right at the very end, he just butchered a very simple line of simple word. And then he got scared, and he tried to look at the Titantron because he knew Seth Rollins was coming out. And, when he did that, we understood that this was completely scripted and he knew Seth Rollins was, again, coming out. It just took me completely off of the moment, and I think it ruined the entire promo, to be honest with you, because like I said, what you feel, what someone makes you feel is super important, but ending of everything, of a wrestling show, of everything, the ending is what we remember the most also. I mean, case in point with this Raw, the beginning was awesome. The middle part, we had some bright spots. I'll get to them real quick. The end being so good, what makes us remember this Raw as being pretty decent, pretty darn good. So you gotta remember, man, so the very end, the most important part of the promo, besides the very beginning, you just messed up. You just messed up, Roman. I don't know what's going on with him, but even Seth Rollins here was more entertaining. It was obviously scripted. It was obviously, the same old. I don't know if I should say the word that I'm thinking of right now, but Zesty Rollins just came out there and did his thing. You know what I mean? Guys, I complained about this guy many times. The way he presents himself is just not doing him any favors. But even Seth Rollins for a second time now was better than Roman Reigns, because before, when he called The Rock middle-aged, got in his face when they were in the ring with Cody and stuff, that was again better than Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has been choking. Roman Reigns has been choking right now in physical action. By the end of the night, it was good. But yeah, anyways, obviously I'm going to be talking about Rock, Roman, the Bloodline stuff a whole of a lot more, because that's the most important thing going on in the entirety of professional wrestling. But let's talk about some other matches, some nice matches here. This was the AEW match of the night. I mean, usually when DIY is involved, when Judgment Day is involved, especially JD McDonough, that's the term I give it. This is going to be the AEW match of the night. And it was pretty much it, man. 8-man tag team, the chaos all over. And the most memorable thing about this is obviously the botch with Johnny Gargano. I think it was also Dominic's fault, because when he took the suicide dive, he could have just done a back bump and instantly go down. That way Johnny just falls, flat. But instead of doing that, he caught Johnny a little bit, and then he lost his balance and took a couple of steps back and fell down incrementally and not all of a sudden. So that's why they ended up in a horrible looking position, and Johnny Gargano basically DDT'd himself from the inside of the ring, from the second rope to the outside. It looked absolutely brutal. I mean, he just made his, let's say, the name Suicide Dive, he made that come to life, ironically enough, when you think about the word. But yeah, that was insane. Finn Balor, even after he won the match, he was looking over to not JD, but Johnny. It's is he alive? But yeah, it just made me think of, what if, Gargano is gone? And it makes me sad, because we got Tommaso Ciampa here with Gargano. He's amazing in the ring, on the mic. He just spoke to Gunther for 5 minutes, I think. Maybe less than 5 minutes. He cut a promo, and crowd went from not giving a crap about Ciampa to really getting behind him. He's that freaking good, man. And it hurts me. He's getting wasted in DIY right now, completely wasted. And he's old too. I know Triple H likes him, so maybe he'll give him a push, but that's the one thing that scares me. I hope one day Ciampa gets his due again, even on the main roster. Triple H likes JD McDonough, for example, and JD is getting a push every now and then, getting cool matches. Right now, especially, you know what I mean, with Ricochet last week. But yeah, I do want to see a good, solid singles run from Tommaso Ciampa, for sure, man. If you don't know him, if you never watched him in NXT or anywhere, take my word for it. He's super, super good. But like I said, he's a bit old, so I'm not sure if he'll ever, play a major role in the main roster, but we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. And Dominic, man, be careful on those bumps, you know what I mean? Especially the suicide dive. Just go down. Just catch him and go down. But yeah, that was rough. That was scary for sure. So just to let you know, it was confirmed that by, wrestling sources, that Johnny Gargano is fine. So think of that what you will, right? There you go. So we had this match, but besides the match, I think the match was super generic, and I don't even know how the match ended. It was, I guess, just, there you go. The match ended via DQ. The ending was super weird. I thought the setup was actually awesome, because I don't care about what Sami Zayn is doing. He still feels like a second fiddle, a tick, on your, pet dog or something like that you want to get rid of. What are you doing here? You're not even supposed to be here. That's the feeling that Sami Zayn is still giving off. Chad Gable should be in his place, obviously. But their backstage segment, Chad Gable, hyping him up. That whole segment was nice. It was serious. I actually enjoyed it. for sure. And then I thought we were going to get a nice payoff here by Sami Zayn finally beating Bronson Reed, maybe lifting him up for a power move and making us go crazy. They reserved that spot for somebody else, not Sami Zayn. We'll get to him for sure. We definitely have to get to him. In fact, I think he also deserves his entire own video. Maybe I'll do that one day. But yeah, this ending was weird because I guess I missed it. I was watching it, this Raw with Just Brian, and look, man, we didn't even see why Sami Zayn got taken out. Didn't he just see Gunther and then he walked up to the stage, right? And then tried to beat Gunther? Then why wasn't there a free counting? Why wasn't there no DQ? Like, what was going on? The ending left me so confused. They made that super unclear. And it was dissatisfying as well. Again, just moved nothing of the story. And like in hopes of protecting Bronson Reed, which is a decent wrestler, but he can't speak. He doesn't really have much of a character. Again, it doesn't make you feel anything right now. Why would you protect him? You know, I'm not sure. I am not sure. And if Gunther was going to interfere, you could have done it in a better way. Again, just keep everything the same, all the storyline elements, him beating up Chad Gable and all that. Keep everything the same, just do it in a better way. Usually, these small nuances, when you talk about a Gunther segment, they do it super well. Like Gunther really makes sure these nuances are the perfect wrestling angle. Like even with The Miz, I still remember them. Like his feud with The Miz is super generic, right? But even the generic stuff, he does them so right. He does them so right, just like how he does a crossline so right in the match. Just like how he does the smallest bit of movement so right in the match. He does those small, segments super well that I remember. This was a miss. This was actually a miss from Gunther. What I didn't miss, though, was his form, man. Oh, my God. I remember just a couple of years ago, Gunther looking like an absolute blob, no disrespect. I'm not trying to body shame here, but the difference is stark. It's stark. He's in all black with the dress shoes. Man, when he stood like that, there you go. And they shot him from the side. It was just like pretty straight. And I think he has extreme amount of discipline. I mean, him being Australian, maybe that helps with that. And I'm just thinking, like, what's going to happen a year from now? What's going to happen 2 years from now if Gunther continues to go like this? Will he use some, you know what I mean? Just like The Rock, or will he stay like this? We'll have to find out. We'll have to figure it out. But if he continues to work on his physique and grow at this rate, Gunther is going to have an impeccable run. He's not lost, I don't think, ever since he got to the main roster. When he was on NXT, he lost like 2 times maybe that I can remember. So this is absolutely insane. Gunther is like a future world champion. And I cannot believe that they're doing this with him. I guess Triple H, being at the top really paid out for him. Even Vince liked him a little bit. But I heard at least at one point Vince was like, I don't get this guy. I think I'm going to fire him or something like that. You'd have that to Gunther. Like, you have to be absolutely blind. Like, Vince is a genius. Vince sees a lot more than we ever did. But I don't know why you couldn't see what was special about Gunther. But anyways, yeah, that was cool, man. I'm excited to see the WrestleMania match. I think it's going to be pretty good, actually, even though I don't care about the storyline too much. Speaking of things that I don't care about, I guess Ivy Nile just left the, what's the boy's name? Diamond Mine? I'm not sure. Creed Brothers. There you go. Creed Brothers. Now she's with Maxine, with Alpha Academy. I'm not sure what's going on exactly there, but we just saw more of the heel Candice LeRae stuff. And yeah, Indy Hartwell had a match. I don't know. Like, besides the fact that she's tall, I think she's good looking. She doesn't have anything else going on for her. I'm sorry. Like, I wanted to like her for so long, but she can't really wrestle. She's not really anything special in the ring. She definitely cannot cut a promo. All of her moments, all of her segment looks super fake. The only person I really like in this match is Candice LeRae and Maxine Dupree, because I think she has room to grow and she's super enthusiastic and she works on her craft. She might be able to accomplish something. Ivy Nile, it's not that I dislike her, but again, I don't see much special in her as well. But I've been finding this Candice heel turn thing kind of interesting. So we'll see where this goes. Yeah, I guess she got kind of screwed over by Candice. Either they're going to have a feud, against each other. In the end, Candice, or I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, we'll see what happens. Now, this was incredible. Triple H said, you know what, time to bring Ricochet back. He was incredible in NXT. I loved every single thing he did in NXT. Every single match, every single segment with Ricochet was awesomely done. Hit his weaknesses completely and just showcased his strengths to the highest limit. And we don't like him now, I guess, too much because of what he did, but Velveteen Dream, allegedly, his Ricochet segments against Velveteen Dream, him doing the front flip outside the ring to face off against Velveteen. His North American Championship matches, the ladder match, I think it was in that. His match with Adam Cole, I mean, come on. And of course, one of the matches I remembered, I think this happened at a pay-per-view, was Ivar versus Ricochet. And they literally did the exact same match, but at a Monday Night Raw. And Brooklyn, this crowd was already super hot through the entire night, and they just ate this match up, man. And rightfully so. When I first saw this match back in NXT, I absolutely loved it, especially when Ricochet deadlifted my boy Ivar here. I'm glad Ricochet gets to, showcase his talent. And I see him in the backstage interviews that make it to like YouTube and stuff. I feel like he's getting better at speaking as well. Like it definitely seems like to me that he's been practicing. He has a bit more command over the microphone, and that's the biggest thing Ricochet has always missed. In the ring, he's impeccable. The stuff he does, nobody else can probably do it as consistently, as good as he does in such a high level. But on the mic, it was a complete bust. Complete bust. Like, we're not even talking salvageable. But right now, like I said, he's improving that as well. And under the guise of Triple H, or the leadership of Triple H, let's say, if he is able to turn in more performances like this, he's going to catch more and more eyes. And if you can combine that with a good mic performance, good promos, Ricochet has a bright future, easily a US champion again, easily an Intercontinental champion again. And one more time, with the right promos, I could even see him winning like the World Heavyweight Championship, like the secondary main event title. He might even have a moment like Rey Mysterio did, maybe a very short stint at the very top with the biggest title for a month or two, The man has been absolutely consistent, always delivering, doing stuff that nobody else can do. Good person backstage. Triple H certainly likes him, to the point that when he first came into NXT, before he changed his theme song, I would like to remind you, Triple H was like saying Ricochet in his theme song. That was H's voice. Man, again, kudos to him and everybody else around the, creative team, because maybe even the entirety of the WWE, because they're all making the right calls right now, and gradually, not like a day and night difference right now. Well, actually, if you look at like first when Triple H took over from Vince, and look at now what's going on with the shows, it might be a night and day difference, man. But it's just happening slowly, incrementally, not at once like that, right? And that's something that I've been saying for the past 1 or 2 years now. Like, this has been a cool ride, but I am really curious to see what kind of a level we're gonna be at 5 years down the line, when all of these changes, will build up so much that we're almost going to have a different feeling product. And I think we're starting to see the effects of it already. I think it's for the better, for sure. Ricochet, man, let's see what happens with him. Kudos to Ivar too. They did give him a bit of a singles push. I think his partner is going to come back soon. But yeah, this was an awesome match. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Ivar though. Like, besides tag team, he could maybe have that one mid-card championship run, but we'll see. Like I said, his gimmick needs to be adjusted. Not changed, but adjusted, because he's too goofy. He's like an 80s, Vince McMahon from the cartoon era character. I don't like it. So that's got to change. Other than that, he's always been extremely, interesting to watch in the ring. And we got Rhea freaking Ripley, and I just love this segment. Look, I'm a man, okay? I'm a simple man. I'm a simple man. This is all I'm gonna show you, and that's all I'm gonna say. My quick comments on this feud in general is that it certainly in the past 2 weeks it's been better as a build-up. Before that, I didn't care. But regardless of the build-up and everything else, I think this is gonna be a great match, because Rhea Ripley killed it with Charlotte out there last year. And Becky Lynch is talented enough that she can do the exact same this year with Becky as well. So regardless of what happens with the build-up, or what happened to this point, which I think Rhea Ripley, naming Becky Lynch's daughter and stuff like that, I thought it was something that's needed, that kind of lit a bit of a fire under this feud. I'm definitely not saying this is anything perfect as far as build-up goes. Or build-ups go. There you go. English is sometimes a tricky language. But yeah, I love Rhea Ripley, even though I can't say her name properly. I enjoy Becky Lynch from time to time. Sometimes she's annoying, but in this case, I think we're gonna see a pretty good match, like I said, at WrestleMania. So I am happy. Don't worry, I am happy. Yeah, they just battled from the backstage to this match. Man, I'm thinking nothing. Just like the crowd. The crowd was just silent throughout the entire match. And look, Dakota Kai is a nice and kind person. Tegan Knox as well. They're passionate about this business. Tegan Knox injured so many times. Many injuries, many people probably wouldn't have come back from. Dakota Kai, same, just injury after injury. But they're not really doing anything interesting in the ring, man. Really, no. As far as match psychology goes, they give us zero reason to care. Zero reason to care. And everybody is just patiently waiting for Bayley and Io Sky at this point, and they don't really care about anything else. And when it comes to the other tag team match, they're just waiting for Jade Cargill to debut or to see Bianca Belair and cheer for her and stuff like that. But Damage Control, I think they're underwhelming, especially Io Sky. She looks like a manager in her own stable. She's supposed to be the leader of. Why? Because she has the main championship. Regardless of what you think about everybody else, the main champion should be the leader of that stable, and make sure she stands out more than the rest of them. But yeah, this is just underwhelming, man. The crowd, no reaction. And like I said, the Brooklyn crowd was amazing tonight, and they reacted to pretty much everything, but they didn't react to this. Besides Zoe Stark, she was like the only wrestler. I gotta be honest, man. Some of these moves that they did, like the baseball side, I specifically remember that. It's like, how did you even get to the WWE? Like, I know that's insulting. I know, with all the respect, you know what I mean? Like, let me just put myself down here a little bit. I tried to become a professional wrestler. I trained just for a month or two, and then I broke down because, wrestling is more than, what goes on in the ring, right? Look, the travel, everything. It's a different, amazingly busy lifestyle, and it's not for everybody. It wasn't for me. But still, with that being said, I'm not saying that I'm the greatest, the knowledgeable person on wrestling, but come on, man. Like, some of the moves that they do, the intensity, the lack of it, it's just like, how did you get hired? I'm sorry, that's mean. That's mean. But it's like, come on, man. God, give me something more. If you're doing a lazy dropkick, a baseball slide, do a taunt, do a funny move, do an annoying move. Give me something here. Give the crowd something. This was a definition of a toilet match. It's a shame because I like a lot of the people in Damage Control. I enjoy Zoe Stark, which again, she was like the only highlight of this match. She was the only one that was really trying, and she was the only one that made the crowd go like, oh. Other than that, the crowd was just this. It was just silence all around. This was rough to watch. This was rough to watch. Like, oh my God, especially after, everything else that we've seen tonight. These ladies, they got to figure it out. The writers, they got to figure it out, man. And then we had this match, which the first half was, a little boring because the Bloodline rules match is it's a no DQ match. That's it. There's no difference from an actual, no DQ match. It's the same exact thing. No gimmicks, no nothing. Could have been just one small thing to differentiate this match so we would have a reason to call it, Bloodline. But I guess the only reason we call it a Bloodline match is because Solo is in it. Yeah, that was the only disappointing thing about it. The crowd said we want tables. We got 2 tables in this match. I mean, it was entertaining. Don't get me wrong. Was it main event worthy? I'm not sure. As a matter of fact, I would say no. And as a matter of fact, I would say that most of SmackDown and most of Raw this year, and for a while maybe, they've had 99% of their main event is just underwhelming, and it doesn't feel like it should be the main event. Just like, I'm never ever excited about the main event. Maybe 99 is a high number, more like 95, maybe 90%, but that's still 90 freaking percent. Like, again, this was whatever. The only reason why I was excited about this match was to see, what is Bloodline's rules match? Let's figure it out. Let's see. That's cool, actually. A bit of a preview for WrestleMania. Because other than that, who's going to be excited? Mr. Solo Sikoa has not been doing anything after beating John Cena, which that match was underwhelming in and of itself. So yeah, after that, we get to this match. We try to see what the Bloodline stipulation is all about. It's just no DQ. So, I kind of lost interest and waited for what I knew was coming, which was anything involving the Bloodline, The Rock, and Roman Reigns at the very end. And, that's what happened. I was really scared in this, by the way, part of the match because, number one, Seth Rollins has his tights, just like Tanahashi nowadays, way too low. We might see a crack, you know what I mean? It's dangerous. We usually end up seeing that because, like, people, pull people for, like, a German suplex. And then Tanahashi shows his crack and Seth Rollins again in the same danger. But anyways, other than that, and when he did that powerbomb, I mean, you all know what happened to Seth Rollins. I'm always scared for his knee, but obviously he's like super deliberate with it and he lands super gently on his feet for that powerbomb. But yeah, once he landed on his feet, this powerbomb was actually awesomely done. Very well executed, just as you would expect from Seth freaking Rollins. I mean, you can, fault everything about him. His character, his promos, everything. But when he gets in that ring, he's in a league of his own and he will always deliver no matter who you put in front of him. Usually if his matches suck, which it's very rare, it's probably because of the booking decision, man. So yeah. And we got Jey Uso helping out. I gotta say, this white attire by Jey Uso, they just gotta get serious. Like, main event Jey Uso, this doesn't come up many times, man. And if your cousin wasn't Roman Reigns, you might have never been in this position ever, so take advantage of it. Jimmy is a lost cause. He's just not serious enough. He just puts himself across as a joke. Jay is sometimes good. He's, sometimes way too goofy, just like Jimmy. Here, I thought his attire is like, what are you doing? Are you at the beach right now? You know what I mean? Are you here to swim, man? Whatever. You know what I mean? This is just underwhelming. This whole feud between Jay and Jimmy is underwhelming. I'll probably do a predictions video, if not here, at Kiss the Ring. The link to that channel will be at the very end of the video, so stay tuned. That's our group channel where we talk about professional wrestling, if you want more content. But yeah, this feud is just not been executed well. I mean, like, they did nothing at the Royal Rumble either. But like I said, whole lot of can of worms for a different video. Then we got Cody Rhodes coming out there, and it was quickly shut down. Roman Reigns came out, The Rock came out, and this is gonna be the end of the pictures. But what I loved about this is that The Rock actually took a couple of punches from Cody, and he also took a bump. He also took a freaking bump for the first bump ever since he came back, and it just looks so good. See, Mr. AEW, Mr. Tony Khan, you don't need to hit 5,000 Canadian destroyers every single match to get a reaction. The Rock, with a simple bump to a punch, got more reaction than probably 99% of the AEW roster has ever did in their entire career. You just build something, you put storylines, you make stuff meaningful, whether it's a table break, whether it's a simple punch. This is how you do it. And The Rock just showcasing the greatest hits of wrestling right here. This is the way it's used to be, and this is the way it should be. I mean, UFC understands it too. WWE understands it, but I wonder if AEW, and more specifically Tony Khan, which is the brainchild of AEW, or the brains behind AEW would be a more accurate term. I wonder if he'll ever understand that. But yeah, the whipping, all that, great, you know what I mean? And guess what? Cody Rhodes got whipped by, I think, Wardlow and MJF, and that's when he won against MJF, finally. I mean, forget about everything else, you know what I mean? That whipping part should tell you everything you need to know. I just see a very low possibility, unless Seth Rollins did mention a plan B, and it was glossed over. A lot of people seem to be, not thinking about it, kind of forgetting about it. If that plan B involves something that we don't see coming, maybe The Rock will do something we don't see coming, and that way Cody loses. I really don't see anything else going on at WrestleMania. Like, I'm giving it a higher than 50%, maybe even 75% that Cody is going to finally finish his story, because he ended this segment with a very low momentum. He's been getting beat up so much by The Rock, and this week he just literally got whipped, and again, completely on his back. Momentum very, very low. The Rock and the Bloodline in general is riding super, super high, and like I said, it's the WWE. Now Triple H might subvert their expectations. But I just don't see it happening. With every single promo that Cody does, that Roman does, that The Rock does, each one is just making me feel more and more like Cody is about to finally finish his story. But again, we cannot forget about the fact that Roman has his own story, The Rock has his own story, and they might end up finishing theirs first, way before Cody. So it's good. It's good. Good TV. And since this is Monday Night Raw, this is usually the case. Like, I try to keep things short, but we always make it around 30 minutes. It's kind of like a tradition around here. On SmackDown, we usually do 20 minutes to talk about the entire show. But speaking of that, stay tuned. On Friday or probably Saturday morning, I'll be dropping a quick review for SmackDown. You'll probably see Kiss the Ring here somewhere. Lots of WWE content, AEW content. I talk about more wrestling. 100% check that channel out. And I also talked about what CM Punk has said recently with Ariel Helwani, and how he was completely 200% right about AEW. You can check it out somewhere over here as well. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for spending your time with me. And now go home and smoke some more crack if you smell what Kero is cooking.